All right, so we are going to kind of pick up where we left off before spring break. We're going to do a little bit of review first, and then kind of jump right into it. Some of you probably took your notebooks home, so you have your note packet at home with you. If you didn't do that, I did post a note packet on Focus, my webpage, resource tab, as well, so you can print those out so that you have them and you can kind of just pick up where we left off. All right. Some of you may want to just write things down. You can do that as well. But having these notes, taking these notes is going to be a grade for next week that you'll scan and upload to me through Focus, or you can take a picture and send it to me through email, whatever is most convenient for you. All right, so a little bit of review here. When we left, we were talking about a filibuster, okay? And this is a procedure used only in the Senate, okay? So our congressmen, House of Representatives, cannot filibuster, but our senators can filibuster. It allows unlimited debate on a bill. The purpose of it is to stop or slow down action of a bill, because we're going to look at in a filibuster, it takes a larger percentage of the senators to agree to stop the filibuster than it does to pass a bill through the Senate. If the bill is postponed long enough, the bill is likely to die, and then it would have to be introduced again if somebody wanted to do that. We talked about filibusters and how they can basically just talk about anything. And a lot of the filibusters now, they can just really threaten to filibuster and not actually have to do the filibustering. I wanted to show you this short film because it shows somebody just kind of talking about anything. So let's watch this really quick here. It's only a minute.
And I love this story, and so I'm going to read it to you. Sam I am. That Sam I am, that Sam I am. I do not like that Sam I am. Do you like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Would you like them here or there? I would not like them here or there. I would not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you like them in a house? Would you like them with a mouse? I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you eat them in a box? Would you eat them with a fox? Not in a box, not with a fox. Not in a house, not with a mouse. I would not eat them here or there. I would not eat them anywhere. I would not eat green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am.
Okay, so here we are back. So that just shows, as you can read, our Senator Cruz, during one of his filibusters, just reading green eggs and ham. All right, so here we go. Oh, if you hear something.
And I love this.
Sorry, wrong thing here. Okay. Name the three people who directly represent you in the U.S. Congress. We've talked about these three people before. We're actually going to write some information about them. Some of you may have this written already, but if you don't, when we get to it, that would be the time to do it. Okay, so here they are. I'm sure some of you hopefully have already said out loud as you're watching this who they are. Hopefully all of you have already done that, but if not, we're going to refresh your memory here. We have senior senator. Now, senior here doesn't mean that he's the oldest. It means that he's been a senator for Florida longer. Okay, so senior senator Marco Rubio, junior senior Rick Scott, and then our Congressman Bill Posey, who The next thing is going to ask you, what part of Florida do each of these represent? Well, we know that our two senators represent all of Florida, okay? Unlike our congressman, okay, which Bill Posey, he only represents that 8th district that Brevard County falls into. And hopefully you'll remember that from the map that you completed before spring break. Now, just a little review, and Kyle, if you're out there, you answered this for us in class, so I'm going to assume you're going to shout it out right now. About how many people does each congressman represent? Yes, I'm sure you said 750,000-ish people. And if that is truly what you said, you are correct. So good job to each of you that said that. Okay, so here's Marco Rubio. Just some different pictures. Here he is over here on the right of your screen. Here he is on the front of Time, looking very dapper. Now, he's a senator. He decides he should try for the Republican nomination as president in 2016. So he does all his campaigning. And in his home state of Florida, he figured, oh, I've got this sewn up, right? I definitely will win Florida. Well, lo and behold, he didn't win Florida. Trump did, okay? And since he was counting on Florida, he decided to suspend his campaign after he loses to Trump in Florida. Okay, so, all right, I'm not going to run for president. I'll run for senator again, which he did. And as we can see right here, he was elected senator again. Because remember, senators serve a 6-year term, okay, and they can run as many times as they want to. So he's elected in 2010, wants to get the presidential nomination for 16, doesn't do it, so he runs again as senator and wins. So currently one of our senators here in Florida. All right, so this is what you're going to write down here. Under Senator Marco Rubio, he's 47 years old. The first star on your paper, first elected to the U.S. Senate in 2010, re-elected in 2016. Now, I'm going to go ahead and scroll through this so this PowerPoint is not exceptionally long. You can pause it here and get the notes that you need to, or come back to it. All right. Third thing you're going to write down, Florida House of Representatives from 1998 to 2009. And he was Speaker of the House from 2006 to 2008. Okay. Now, if you hear that noise, I am going to bend down here and pick up my dog because he desperately wants to say hello. All right. Say hello, Logan. So this is Logan. This is my little Dachshund. He is senior. He's 14 years old. So he's sitting at my feet while I'm doing this, giving me kisses. So hello. Say hello. All right. Okay. So I'm going to put him down now. Okay. So back at it here. So those are the 4 things that you needed to write down for Marco. Okay. These things you don't need to write down, just some extra information. He's Cuban American, born in Miami. He went to Santa Fe Community College, which is in Gainesville, and then transferred to the University of Florida, which is also, of course, in Gainesville. He got his law degree from the University of Miami. Now, I'm going to go back here before you start writing that. In the Senate and in the House, there are lots of different committees, okay? And besides the senators and the congressmen's regular duties, they also are appointed to different committees that they serve on. And we're going to look at one function of these committees in a little bit when we talk about how a bill becomes a law. But I do want you to be familiar with a few of the committees that each of these people who represent us are part of. So for Senator Rubio, he is on the Appropriations Committee. He's on the Foreign Relations Committee. He's on the Intelligence Committee. He's on the Aging Committee. And he's on the Small Business Committee. All right. So again, I'm going to go ahead and go. You can come back and write these or pause the video right now. Our second senator, Rick Scott. He is 66 years old. All right. 4 bullet points that you're going to write for him. He was the governor of Florida from 2011 to 2019. He was born in Illinois. He graduated from the University of Missouri, and he served in the Navy for 2 years. Committees that he currently serves on: Homeland Security, Armed Services, Commerce, Aging, and Budget. And then our Congressman, Bill Posey. He is 71 years old. First elected to the House in 2008, re-elected to the House in 2010, 12, 14, and 16. Remember, our representatives only serve a 2-year term, and they can be they can serve as long as they keep being reelected. Okay, so he has served. He is his 5th term. Background information. These are the 4 things to write down about Bill Posey. Florida House of Representatives from 92 to 2000. Florida Senate from 2000 to 2008. We'll get to, oh no, did I take out the others? Oh, no. So these are the first 2, and these are the second 2 points to write down. Again, you don't need to write this stuff, just some extra information about him. He was born in Washington, D.C. His parents moved to Brevard when he was 10. He went to BCC, which is EFSC now. He served on the Rockledge City Council from 86 to 92. And he serves on these committees: Financial Services, Consumer Protection, Oversight, and Science, Space, and Technology. All right. Everybody good there? Okay, so some of the things that these guys, our congressmen and our senators and our president and our vice president, are involved in is how a bill becomes a law. Okay, so you are going to see some different pictures here. These, and you can come back to these. But these are the steps of how a bill becomes a law in different visual aspects, okay? Different flow charts, whatever might work for you. I just put a bunch of different ones up here. So whatever helps you learn them the best will be good. This is one, okay? Different flow chart here. Here's another. And another. And another, all right? So come back to those if you need to kind of get to know how a bill becomes a law. All right, so we are going to watch Schoolhouse Rock now, and then I'll get back to you.
Ashley Home Store's first ever warehouse blowout sale is happening now. We're closing out over $500 million in...
As your body grows bigger,
your mind loves power.
It's great to learn.
'Cause knowledge is power.
It's Schoolhouse Rocky, the chip off the block of your favorite Schoolhouse Rock. I'm just a Bill.
Woo, you sure gotta climb a lot of steps to get to this Capitol building here in Washington. Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is.
I'm just a Bill, yes, I'm only a Bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee, but I know I'll be a law someday. At least I hope and pray that I will, but today I am still just a Bill.
Gee, Bill, you certainly have a lot of patience and courage.
Well, I got this far. When I started, I wasn't even a bill. I was just an idea. Some folks back home decided they wanted a law passed, so they called their local congressman, and he said, "You're right, there ought to be a law." Then he sat down and wrote me out and introduced me to Congress, and I became a bill. And I'll remain a bill until they decide to make me a law. I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I got as far as Capitol Hill. Well, now I'm stuck in committee, and I'll sit here and wait while a few key congressmen discuss and debate whether they should let me be a law. I hope and pray that they will, but today I am still just a bill.
Listen to those congressmen arguing. Is all that discussion and debate about you?
Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones. Most bills never even get this far. I hope they decide to report on me favorably, otherwise I may die.
Die?
Yeah, die in committee. Oh, do, but it looks like I'm gonna live. Now I go to the House of Representatives and they vote on me.
If they vote yes, what happens?
Then I go to the Senate and the whole thing starts all over again.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And if they vote for me on Capitol Hill, well, then I'm off to the White House where I'll wait in a line with a lot of other bills for the president to sign. And if he signs me, then I'll be along. How I hope and pray that he will. But today I am still just a bill.
You mean even if the whole Congress says you should be a law, the president can still say no?
Yes, that's called a veto. If the president vetoes me, I have to go back to Congress and they vote on me again, and by that time you're so
By
old,
that
you-
time, it's very unlikely that you become a law. It's not easy to become a law, is it?
No, but how I hope and pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill.
He signed your bill. Now you're a law.
Oh, yes.
All right, so I'm sure you guys all remember that from maybe even elementary school, junior high. I still love it though. Who doesn't love Schoolhouse Rock? Okay, so overview. Now we're going to delve into it a little bit deeper and write some of this stuff down. Okay, on your paper, there are 4 short definitions that we're going to write. The first one is a bill. A bill is an idea for a law. Okay, it's just an idea. Only 1% of introduced bills actually become a law. So like the little Schoolhouse Rock just said, it's very difficult for a bill to become a law. I thought this was pretty cool. There's a Halloween party for Senate kids, and one costume just hit the right note for Washington, D.C. All right. He dressed up like a bill. Thought that was pretty cool. All right, executive order. Now, if you've been watching the news about this COVID-19 virus that's going around, you know, that's got us doing this virtual school, you probably have heard this word a lot lately, executive order. Our president has put in place some executive orders. Governors of certain states have put in place certain executive orders. For example, our governor, DeSantis, very recently has put in executive orders about beach closings, about people traveling from certain cities that have been hit hard coming into the state of Florida, rules they have to follow. So this word should be very familiar to you, at least hearing the word in recent history if you've been keeping up with the news. But the definition I want you to write is a rule or order issued by the president. And like I said, it doesn't have to be just the president. It could be other political figures having the authority of a law. However, executive orders typically expire when the president leaves office. Okay, so they put into place these executive orders once they leave office because it is not a law per se, then that order doesn't stand anymore. And then the third definition, a rider, an additional provision added to a bill having little connection with the subject matter of the bill. So you can see in the visual that I have here, a budget bill, which is very important to everybody, okay? So you can see hanging on, writing behind this main bill are 4 different bills there, okay? So what typically, there's 2 main purposes, and actually I'm going to go to the next slide because it discusses it. Riders are usually created as a tactic to pass a controversial provision that would not pass on its own. So maybe this budget bill is expected to pass, okay? But there's some other bills that I, as a congressman or the House of Representatives or the Senate, that they want passed, that they don't think would pass on its own accord, just being a bill by itself. So it says like, wow, we think this budget bill will probably pass. So let's add on these riders, okay, things we also want to happen, because people will hopefully maybe will overlook those things because they want this budget bill to pass. So it's kind of like sliding in the back door, getting some things to pass that you want. Occasionally, a controversial provision is attached to a bill not to be passed itself, but to prevent the bill from being passed. So on the flip side, right? You don't want this budget bill here, back to this. You don't want this budget bill passed, okay? So you know these other things, these riders that you've attached to it, won't pass, okay? So if they're not going to pass, people are going to vote against the budget bill because they are definitely against these riders, okay? So it could either be to get it passed because you know the budget bill will, or put these riders in that you know people don't like, so the budget bill won't pass. So two different trains of thought there. All right, who can sponsor a bill? Let's see. It's the responsibility of Congress to make the laws. So while anyone can create or write a bill must be introduced either by a member of the House of Representatives or the Senate. Okay, so I could write a bill, right? Not that I really would know how. Mine would be kind of generic, but I could write a bill about something that I am passionate about, okay? And I could contact my congressman, my senator, and say, listen, this is a bill that I'm interested in. What do you think? All right? If they like it, they'll probably rewrite it, but they would have to introduce it for it. Actually, I can't just like walk into Congress and say, hey, here's a bill I want you guys to debate about and talk about. Bill sponsorship. Only a member of Congress can eventually officially sponsor a bill and then introduce that bill into their chamber. It's a response. Oh, wait, I went backwards. Sorry. So who writes the actual bill? Well, technically anyone could. I could, you could, anybody could write a bill. All right. But typically there's what we call interest group, a group of people that seeks to influence public policy based on their own common interest. Okay, they often write bills. So you have an interest group and they think something should become a law. Okay, something that they're passionate about, this interest group. So they might write a bill, right? And they would send it possibly to their congressman or contact their congressman, their senator, to try to get it introduced. These are some examples of interest groups. All right, NRA, which we hear a lot about, things that they want passed, they may write a bill and go to a senator or a congressman that agrees with their line of thinking. AARP, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, American Civil Liberties, Black Lives Matter, NAACP, Vote Latino, Pro-Choice America, Run Like a Girl, National Organization for Women, National LGBTQ Task Force, Human Rights Campaign. So these are all different interest groups that potentially write bills to try to get passed into law. Usually outside groups, and here's the fourth definition, lobbyists are responsible for writing the bill. Okay, so these interest groups, okay, would possibly write a bill, hire a lobbyist to perfect the bill, rewrite it, or write it in the first place. So a lobbyist, okay, right here, somebody talking into the ear of a congressman or a senator. Here's the definition I want you to write, and then you're going to see a couple more political cartoons. A lobbyist is an activist who seeks to persuade members of Congress to sponsor and support legislation that would benefit their group. Right? And here's different lobbyists. So Ford Motor Company, they might lobby for less regulation on the automotive industry. Pay no attention to the man outside, Senator. Okay, so here we are, voters. Don't listen to the voters, listen to me, the lobbyist. Okay, I want you to pass a bill or introduce a bill that I am interested in, that my interest group is interested in, not necessarily what the voters are interested in. Nobody tells me what to do or say. I really love this one because obviously whoever's writing this is telling him exactly what to say. Why lobbyists write bills and why you shouldn't worry too much about it. Why? Because only 1% of bills actually come to fruition and become laws. Okay, so committees. We wrote some committees that our representatives here in Florida are part of. Okay, so we're going to look at how a bill becomes a law. And committees are very important because this cartoon, if you read at the bottom, a bill clerk assigns the bill of number. So a congressman, a senator introduces a bill. Okay, boom, stamp. It's given a number, a bill number. And if you're ever interested in looking up bills, the best way to research them is by number. So anyway, they assign a number to it. And then this bill, once it gets a number, it goes to the proper committee. So we have all of these committees in our House of Representatives. We have all of these committees in Senate and the Senate. And so whatever this bill pertains to, it's sent to that committee. And like we saw in the Schoolhouse Rock, all right, the committee debates about it. Do we like this bill? Don't we like this bill? What do we like about it? What do we need to change about it? So that is the first step. A group of people that handle specific duty in Congress. These are the committees. This is different than general duties of Congress, which is making the laws. Now, we have 3 types of committees, and this is already on your note sheet: standing, select, and conference. And we're going to look at what these 3 different types of committees do and what is the difference in them. All right, first one, standing committee, is a permanent committee. Okay, and that is most important about a standing committee. It's always there. It's they focus on a long-lasting issue. The budget committee, that's a standing committee. It is always going to be around. These are some standing committees in the House. Okay, there are 20 of them. If you want to take the time to read through all of those, go ahead. All right, come back to it, pause it, whatever you need to do. These are standing committees in that Senate. There's 16. Okay, these are always around, permanent committees. And the second type, Congressional Committee. These are just some pictures of, so this is a committee right here. All right, these are the people sitting at this table that are assigned to this committee. And they obviously have a bill or something, a bill that they're talking about and they're debating on. Here's another. And every committee is not the same size. Some committees are smaller, some committees are larger. So just some different pictures for you there. A committee chair, the presiding officer of a committee or subcommittee. In the Senate, chairmanship is based on seniority of committee tenure, but a senator may not chair more than one standing committee. So, say you're in the Homeland Security Committee in the Senate, okay, and you have been in that committee longer than anybody else in that committee. You are the chairperson for that committee. And here again, this is we're in the 116th Congress right now, which we discussed that already. And this just gives you who the members are, majority and minority members in each of those committees. There's intelligence, finance, homeland security. These are Senate committees: the judiciary, armed services, environmental, small business. Here you see Marco Rubio. And he is chair. You can see chairman. Now I want to go back to this because on the next slide it talks about ranking member. Okay, so this is the majority, all right, the Republican. So the senior, not age, but been in it the longest, is the chairperson of this committee. Okay, and then the minority in that committee, which would be Democrats right here. The senior, been in the committee the longest, is the ranking member. The most senior member of a congressional committee from the minority party. These are just more. And then the second type of committee is a select committee. This is temporary as opposed to the standing, which is permanent. Those that only last for a certain amount of time, created for a matter that is currently important. So we have this issue going on right now that's not always here. So we need a temporary committee, a select committee. House select committees on energy, independence, and global warming. Senate select, Indian Affairs, Committee on Ethics, Committee on Intelligence. These are just some examples. Okay, and then the third type of committee is a conference committee. So the other 2 types of committees that we just talked about, you have House is separate, Senate is separate. They have their separate committees, Okay, conference committee is the opposite. It's created to resolve disagreements on a bill passed in different versions of each chamber. So here's a bill that passes in the Senate, or passes, it goes to Congress first. Bill that's passed in Congress. Okay, it goes to the Senate. Senate likes most of it, but there's some revisions that they want to make. So they make these revisions and pass it. Well, we need a conference committee that is made up of both congressmen, House of Representatives, and senators. Okay, so they conference, they talk to each other, and they iron out the differences in this bill. Okay, if they can reach an agreement, then the report of the conference committee is sent to both houses, and if both houses accept the compromise, the bill is enrolled in a final act, which we're going to see that is to the president. All right? How many members of Congress are in each committee? Well, we see a committee there. There are smaller committees. There are larger committees. How are they assigned? These are the people that assign them to different committees. Chamber leadership, Speaker of the House, House Minority Leader, House Majority Leader, which these things we've already gone over, Senate Minority. So that is how they appoint people to the different committees. All right, the last part that we're going to do in this video anyway is how a bill becomes a law. Now, these are the 10 steps. You can pause them and write them all here. I'm going to go over each one individually, and then also at the end, you'll see this again. So whatever's more convenient for you, but on your note sheet, you'll see right here, okay, how a bill becomes a law, 10 easy steps. This is where you're going to be writing that, all right? So there are 3 methods for voting on a bill in the U.S. House of Representatives. So a bill goes to the House of Representatives, all right, and it's sent to a committee. The committee says, yes, we want to pass this forward. So now we're going to put it on the floor of the House, and we need to vote. Okay, so 3 different ways in the House only, that it can be voted on. First one is called Viva Voice vote. The Speaker of the House asks the representatives who support the bill to say yay, A, and those who oppose it say no. Okay, so it's basically just voice. The second one, the Speaker of the House asks the representatives who support the bill to stand up, and they're counted. Then those who oppose to stand up, and they're counted. And then the third is recorded. Representatives record their vote using an electronic voting system, which you're going to see what the box looks like in just a minute. Representatives can vote yes, no, or present if they don't want to vote on the bill. So they're not voting yes or no. Okay? And there is the box. When representatives vote on a bill, they usually the electronic voting machine. Okay? So this is one of the 3 ways they can vote. So basically just saying it, or standing, or this electronic method. And this is actually in the chamber. You can see this is the voting board right here. The bill is voted on. If a majority of the representatives say or select yes, the bill passes in the House of Representatives. The bill is then certified by the clerk of the House and delivered to the Senate. Okay, so by a simple majority, which is 218. Okay. The bill is referred to the Senate. When the bill reaches the Senate, it goes through many of the same steps it went through in the U.S. in the House of Representatives, but the bill is discussed in a Senate committee. Then it's reported to the Senate floor to be voted on. Now, a little different here. The Senate only votes one way. They don't have the 3 different options that the House of Representatives did. The Senate, those who support the bill say yay. Those who oppose it say nay. If a majority of the senators say yay, then the bill passes in the Senate and is ready to go to the president. So only one method there. The bill is sent to the president, and the president has a few options. The president of the United States can sign the bill. If he signs it, it becomes law. Okay? Or he can veto the bill. Even though the House has voted yes on it, the Senate has voted yes on it, he says, I don't really like it, so I want to veto it. Attached to the bill is a veto message, which lists the president's objection. So if he vetoes it, he says, this is why I'm vetoing. This is why I did not sign the bill. Okay? Congress can then override that veto with a 2/3 vote in the chamber. So here, if the president vetoes it, the only way it can become a law is not by simple majority vote in the House and the Senate anymore. They need 2/3 of each chamber to vote this, to veto, to override the president's veto. Very, very rarely does this ever happen. So here's President signing. This is our former President Obama. Current President Trump here signing bills into law. If a bill is passed in both the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate and has been approved by the president, or if the presidential veto has been overridden, the bill becomes a law and is enforced by the government. So these are those 10 steps that you saw before I discussed each one that I want you to write on your paper. Okay, so again, either pause this, whatever you need to do to get those steps written down. Right? And as always, put it in your own words so that you can understand it. But don't change the meaning of it, obviously. Okay, so I told you that your notes, these from this particular video, you're going to take a picture and email it to me or scan it and send it through Focus. But some way you're going to need to get these notes to me by next Thursday, okay, which is April, what is it? Let me see right here. Which this will be on Focus as well. But next Thursday is April 2nd. So by next Thursday, April 2nd, you need to have gotten me in some form or fashion a copy of these notes that you took so that I can upload your grade onto Focus next Friday. Now, you're going to have a second part, another thing that you're going to need to do with these notes, all right? And this should also be in your note packet. And if not, you can go to my webpage under the resource tab and print this out. But this is what it looks like on the left side of the screen here. And I'm going to show you my copy right here. Okay, how a bill becomes a law. All right, you're going to fill this out. And this is the rubric. And it's a pass or fail grade. All right, each phase should have a sketch that matches the proper step in the process. So obviously follow the arrow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 here. Okay, keep words to a minimum. You can have a few words along with your visual, but I don't want you to just have something written. Okay, I want some kind of sketch in there. You can color it if you want to, but it's not necessary. But you know, I always like to see coloring. And remember, I don't grade you on your artistic ability, but it does need to be neat, okay? And that's especially for a few of you, all right? So this as well, you're going to need to either take a picture of it, email me, or upload it on Focus, because you can upload your assignments on Focus. Upload the assignment to me so that I could see it by next Thursday, okay? So you have 4 things that need to be done by next Thursday. First 2 that I'm about to say, which I went over at the beginning of this video, I would like done ASAP. That is signing up for the Remind and filling out that contact information sheet. Okay, the notes and this How a Bill Becomes a Law sketch sheet, those need to be to me by next Thursday, April 2nd. Okay, I put on the news tab on my webpage my office hours. Feel free to contact me whenever you need to. I just might not respond immediately, but in those office hours, which are Tuesday from 10 to 11 and Thursday from 1 to 2, I will be at my computer most definitely for those hours that you can email me and get a response immediately, or send me a remind and get a response immediately. All right. Love you all. I miss you all. And I hope to see you all really, really soon. Signing out now.